Thank you everyone for joining this JBL Professional New Product Launch webinar. My name is Lane Shannon and I'm Content Manager for Harman Pro Global Marketing. This call is being recorded and we will share the recording on our JBL YouTube and training channels once it is available. Also, everyone is muted to keep down noise levels. As you just saw in the new video today, we are thrilled to be launching and introducing you to our brand new JBL PRX ONE all-in-one portable powered column PA system, as well as the new JBL Pro Connect app for simplified management of the PRX ONE. These products are ideal for DJs, musicians, corporate presenters, rental companies, or anyone looking for unmatched power and acoustic performance in a sleek, compact package. And now I'm joined by my colleague and friend, Harman Professionals, Craig Lambricht, Global Director of Portable PA, who will take it from here to present the rest of this launch. Take it away, Craig.
Thanks for the introduction, Lane. The day is here, guys. It's exciting. This is great. I'm very excited and proud to be with you all today to introduce the PRX ONE. The first thing I'd like to do, though, is obviously thank you all for joining all around the world for this historic launch. But before we really get any further into this exciting new product, I would like to give you just a little bit of background on just how a product like this gets done for us. It really starts with us looking at the market and seeing how JBL Pro doesn't just make any product, but how do we make something iconic, unlike really anything currently in the market. And today you're going to see what makes this product really unlike anything else. Having an amazing product idea is really one thing, but having a team globally that can do something like this is really rare. As loudspeakers really become and kind of shift towards being more all-in-one, it's an important reminder to everyone that we do have brands that work across the entire signal path. Brands like Soundcraft, Lexicon, DBX. And for me, as a global product director, I do have the unique opportunity to draw upon these product technologies that we already have in these areas and our signal processing mixer and loudspeaker teams to really develop and design products that are unmatched in the market, like PRX ONE that we'll talk about. Since it truly does take a team to make a product this special, I find it only fitting just to take one moment here just to thank our teams that really have worked passionately day and night through COVID and everything else right now to make what you're going to see here in JBL PRX ONE. And really without any further delay, let's get into the star of the show, which is JBL PRX ONE. As I mentioned before, it's important that we, on our end, are always landscaping the market to understand really what are the pain points, right? So when we look at column speakers, there are some really key areas that tend to be pain points and areas that are not addressed by the products in the field in all these areas. So a lot of times when you do these all-in-one concepts, competitors and products that are in the field currently will sacrifice acoustics for that form factor. Not only that, they tend to have very limited inputs and outputs on the mixer. And then as you look at the effects piece, they tend to have effects that are very difficult to use or very limited in terms of how many you get. Bluetooth also is an issue. As you're looking at pain points, you can cut corners on the Bluetooth chipsets that you use. And that's one area that as we put Bluetooth into Pro products, we want to make sure we don't. And app control is another area where you will see products that either have an app or not an app at all, or they have app control that's very light or limited, where you really don't get to utilize control of all the features in the product. And then the last piece really is the visual appeal of the product. So when you're doing an all-in-one concept, the point of the product is that it looks good and it looks elegant in a lot of different situations, but also very robust and durable as well. So another area that, as we look at the market for column speakers, we're developing this product is just making sure that the visual as well as the durability is on point. So how did we go about solving those issues? We wanted to make sure, first and foremost, as an acoustics company, that we have superior acoustic performance. So we are using a 2000 watt amplifier that has really a full spectrum of clarity. We have very good low end response, getting down to 35 hertz, and really good output, getting up to 130 dB. And then also just making sure too, as you try to use this product into bigger environments, that you get great dispersion with 130 by 30. On the I/O side, we wanted to make sure that we had inputs and outputs that were above and beyond anything that anyone's seen in a column speaker offering. So we do have a 7-channel digital mixer with 4 XLR combo jacks, phantom power, high Z, Bluetooth audio. And each one of these sections we'll talk about in great detail in terms of the technologies that we're using here. On the effects side, I mentioned before in the intro that we do obviously have brands like DBX and Lexicon. So why not leverage what we know in those areas in a way that our competitors can't? So we have a full suite of DBX and Lexicon effects. I mentioned Bluetooth audio. We are using Bluetooth 5.0, which provides the best performance, connectivity, and range as you introduce that into professional audio products. And then obviously the look, making sure that we design for an upscale look. We do have a design house in-house called Human that actually services outside of our company. That is a world-class design firm, and we are using and leverage them for not only the mechanical design and the usability of it, but also how it looks. And with that being said, we also do have a wall mount that I'll talk about separately so that you can mount the array separately from the unit. On the superior acoustic performance side, there's 3 areas that we're going to dive into that make this really special from a sound standpoint. One is JBL's new array enumeration mechanics, or AIM as we call it. The next is that we are using an engineered and really cohesively designed transducer package. So it's not something that's just off the shelf. This is something that we spend a lot of time looking at the specs and design for each one of the acoustic components. And then the last piece that I'll talk about is the 2000 watt peak Class D amplifier and all of the cool technologies that sit under the hood for each one of these. On the JBL AIM technology piece, what's important here is mechanically, we're designing the product right from the beginning. So we have a geometrically optimized array shading design that provides more consistent frequency response from both left to right and front to back. So really there is no bad seat in the house, if you want to say, one way to look at it. And the important thing about that as well is by doing the acoustic engineering and the acoustic design properly from the beginning, we're able to achieve the best coverage and the best response by really using minimal DSP. And what's important about that is oftentimes now DSP is used to cover up flaws in the acoustic designs, or having to use a lot of DSP to cover up areas where you have dips and gaps in the frequency. And here we are making sure that we're designing the acoustics right from the beginning so that we don't have to leverage the DSP, which in turn actually really does allow the transducers to breathe the way they should. It gives the speakers really more consistent reverberation time, off-axis response, and then obviously less power compression. So the speakers are operating very efficiently without the need for that added DSP. The last piece is obviously when you're using an array, the height of the array matters. So we do a lot of modeling to make sure that the height provides the best frequency directivity. On the woofer side, I had mentioned how we're doing class leading, getting down to 35 hertz. But the other important piece of that is that we optimize the high frequency down to 500 hertz. And what that does is it allows the woofer really more room to perform where it does best at the low frequencies. So other products may actually try to have the mids come down. I mean, having the subwoofer come up to really where your high frequency and your your mid-range speakers should be performing because they don't have the best acoustic design from the beginning. We have an improved LF coupling, which allows the woofer to work less to get more output. Again, it's about better or best-in-class design here on the acoustics. And then you can see from the picture, it's a quad port design, and that gives improved low frequency response. But really the real key here and the real takeaway I hope you guys all have here is that it provides very natural music sounding bass. As we get down to 35 hertz, it's not just about getting to the lowest point, but it's also about sounding natural. So you don't get a lot of huffing and chuffing and really an inefficient woofer trying to do something that it can't from a design standpoint. On the amplifier side, it's important to kind of get into the details here because you might just see, well, a 2,000 watt amplifier. But there's a lot going on here from a technology standpoint. We're using power factor correction, which really does provide cleaner power, which in turn saves your devices when you have spikes and voltage variabilities. The next piece of that is that it is a bridged amp, so you're getting a lot of headroom, and that's how we're able to perform at 130 dB and still sound great. It's not just getting up to a number and just sounding loud. It's about sounding good at whatever volume level we offer. And then the next piece is we do use high quality, high linearity inductors. And what that means is it provides lower harmonic distortion, as well as, again, higher power efficiency. So better design, better efficiency, better sound. On the problems in the market piece, I had mentioned that a lot of times you don't have enough I/O. And here we've packed this box with an amazing amount of I/O and features really to accommodate a very big setup down to a very small setup. So we have a 7-channel digital mixer using a color LCD with phantom power. And we'll get into each one of these individually in terms of what they mean from a technology standpoint. We have triple tier DSP, which offers beginner, intermediate, and advanced control. We have simple success metering. We have a dual function mixer, which I'll talk about. And then the other piece too is as you look at this product and products moving forward, we're really designing a UI UX that's built cohesively and has a universal experience. And the way that we're doing that, I mentioned this in the intro, is I have a team that really does have a mixer expert on board. And he is a key player on the team in terms of providing guidance on the best way to use a mixer, the best way to go through a mixer from a process standpoint. And that's an area where companies that just maybe focus on loudspeakers only fall down because they don't have that expertise in hand. On the 7-channel digital mixer side, we have a full color EasyNav LCD. The 7-channel mixer has 4 XLR combos, 2 high-Z for instrument, and Bluetooth audio 5.0 that I mentioned. We have a 1/8 inch or a 3.5 millimeter aux port for connecting a lot of other devices. I mentioned our Soundcraft expertise, and we know what it means to really have good mic preamps. So we have a 56 dB low noise mixing desk quality preamps in this product, which really will set it apart from a quality standpoint and a noise standpoint. I mentioned the EasyNav color LCD. And really what's important about that is it allows for less steps with full hardware control of things like parametric EQ, effect parameters, presets, and much, much more. So it's really about making the experience easy to navigate and the least amount of steps. And by having a color display, we're able to do that. And then the last piece on the mixer itself is we do have 2 channels of true 48 volt phantom power to support condenser mics. And the reason why we say true 48 volt is there are a lot of products out there that are lacking in the voltage side. They will not get up to 48 volts, which really means they really don't support all condenser mics from a solution standpoint. You can kind of see on the image here, these are actually all push encoders. So we have these multifunction knobs and LEDs that we're using. Before I mentioned simple success metering LEDs, and really what that is it highlights the gain staging, the signal detection, and the channel mutes by the light behaviors that you're seeing underneath the channel rotary encoders. The LEDs will blink red, for instance, to indicate channels are muted. We also have push button encoders for simple navigation. So a lot of things to reduce the steps. Having those push encoders really helps to do quick mutes and things like that. And then again, I mentioned the mute thing, but by having these encoders, you can do a long press, for instance, and mute a channel on the speaker very quickly. We have this dynamic dual mode mixer feature that we actually started to do on the Eon One Compact. So the dynamic mixer has two modes that are easily selected kind of with the press of a button. The first mode is your traditional channel strip mode, which allows for control of things like gain, bass, treble, mid, effects. And then the really cool one here is the mix mode. And what mix mode allows the mixer to do is change from that channel strip mode to a mode where all 7 knobs are your gain control for each one of your channels, very similar to a traditional mixer. So again, this is about being smarter, less steps, and providing features and functions that don't currently exist. Triple tier DSP. So triple tier DSP, quite simply, is having a DSP that can operate at all 3 levels of user experience, whether it's beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Entry-level users can very easily select and load use case presets that we've already predefined. But then when you get into an intermediate, they can use these presets as a starting point, right? So that they can start from something and then tweak it out with the full perimeter access. And then when you look at high-end users, they can build their own presets from scratch and really get into a lot of really deep DSP features that they truly understand. So it's really about, with triple tier, it's really about making sure the user at whatever level it is can navigate, but also sound good very quickly. I mentioned effects before and how a lot of products currently do not offer effects, or they may be very difficult to use. And there's 3 areas here that we really set after to make this unlike anything else in the market, and in a way that only we can, because we do have these technologies. So we have DBX Drive Rack inside. We have Lexicon effects like reverb, chorus, delay, and echo. And then again, we have a product mixer expert and engineers fully vested in these programs to work on those features and those functions to make sure they work as someone that knows mixers knows it should. So we'll go into each one of these 3 areas in the coming slides here. The Drive Rack technology side, and just to note too, you'll see pictures on the side of kind of what the display looks like when you might be in some of these features. But so what does Drive Rack inside mean? It means that we've added feedback suppression. We have 8 bands of parametric master EQ. We have limiting, or a limiter. And then we also have 100 milliseconds of speaker delay. So really the ability to cater to a lot of different setups. We have gate and compressor on each channel. We have a 4-band parametric and a 3-band fixed EQ with a hardware knob control on each channel. And then the last piece is having sub-synth so that you can get more low-end response. So we have that ability to have a sub-synth effect on here as well. So you can really see a lot of technology being wrapped up inside to really have this Drive Rack technology included in a product that no one else can. Not only do we have, the DBX technologies that we currently have from Harman, but we also are leveraging Lexicon, and the fact that Lexicon has, world-class effects as well. So we have Lexicon effects like reverb, chorus, delay, and echo. We also have full parameter control with access to making sure that those presets are very easy to use based on very common ways that people would use them. And then, Bluetooth is kind of something you see on most products in the column speaker market right now, but this is an area where you will find some troubling compromises from some other products. They will often use a lower or an older tier of Bluetooth chipset. And really for us, it's about using the best products, the best components, the best features, the best technologies we have. So we are using Bluetooth 5.0, which what's important about that is it does increase the distance. It's less latency and higher quality audio. And then just from an expandability standpoint, if you're not using Bluetooth 5.0, we also do have an analog pass-through for really if you're doing a larger system setup, that is the way that you're going to want to expand your system using dedicated volume control and that speaker delay that I mentioned before. On the app side, this is really important, and in a lot of ways, this is its own product launch today. We have a new app that we've launched today called JBL Pro Connect. It will be the foundation for products that we do going forward that will all work inside of the same ecosystem. So the JBL Pro Connect app is a full app control ecosystem. And it will work on Android, iOS, but more importantly, it will work on both mobile and tablet. So really, you don't have to go out and get another device because almost everyone has a mobile device at this point. But if you do want that larger landscape, you can also use tablet as well. You're seeing some images on the right side here, just to kind of give you, a look at the app in different areas so you can kind of see just how extensive it is. You can use and control up to 10 speakers at one time. We have very easy to save and recall presets. So again, this is about making the experience very fast and easy, no matter what level you are, from a setup and a getting going standpoint. And then, the nice thing about having an app is we can offer some features that, you might not be able to do on the hardware itself. So we have features like speaker snapshots, as well as delayed tap tempos and many other things that we will roll out over time as well as added features onto the app platform. On the app control side, you're seeing another screen here, and you can see just all of the thought that went into the layout. One thing just to get it before we get even into some of the details here is, a lot of this stuff we learned because we have products like UI24 from Soundcraft that uses apps and surfaces exclusively. So we have a lot of experience in really understanding how to make features turn on and off very quickly, how do you set up systems very quickly in an app without having to navigate through a lot of things. So, here you have the ability to change speaker names. You can flash all the LEDs so that you can see which speaker you're working on inside of here. We have, again, the speaker snapshots, the speaker grouping, and the delay tap tempo that I mentioned, which are exclusive app-only features. But then you also have the ability really to build and save full ecosystems in the future without the need for the hardware being in front of you. So you can really get a start on setting up your show when we implement the offline mode feature. You can see here, the naming right now. In some cases, you're seeing channel names, but obviously you can rename those channels to be an instrument or a device that you have connected, so you know exactly what it is. So we have the ability to rename channels here like a traditional mixer scribble strip. We've made it really easy, like one touch, to do things like easily mute channels or turn off your effects. that stuff, when you're working in the mixing world in live sound, is really important. And again, this is where our experience using products like UI24 comes into play, and having the mixer experts on hand. We have an 8-band master parametric EQ with touchscreen control here, so it's very easy to use. And then you also have access to gate compressor and ducking parameters as well. These are just a couple more screens, just so you can see again, here's gate and compressor. All of these have the very simple on-off, as well as mute features in all of these features that you're seeing on the screen. On the top, you can see the tap. You can also see the effects that can quickly be toggled with the touch of a button. And then on the far right here, this is something that I don't want to understate, because I think it's really important, is that this app allows you to upgrade the firmware remotely over the air. So as we launch and roll out new features and new products into the app, it's very easy to make the updates to not only the app, but the firmware on the product as well. And that's just a design philosophy that we have, making sure that the hardware is never totally locked down. We always have the ability to make changes and add enhancements and features as we move down the road, as the product has been in the market. So, just in summary, from a high level, like I said, the really important pieces of this product that really make it an iconic product, something that's not existing in the market today, is that performance and coverage that we provide, both on the wattage, the SPL, as well as the frequencies of response getting down to 35 hertz, and having that 130 dB of output. It's not, about just being loud. It's about making sure we sound good at that level. On the acoustic design standpoint, we have 12 2.5-inch transducers that are using that JBL AIM technology, that shading that I mentioned, which is about having the best hardware design and not having to fix things in the DSP side. We have a 12-inch subwoofer that, again, delivers down to 35 hertz and has that really natural sound. The effects for really real applications here, and that is, that we have the DBX drive rack inside. We have the Lexicon effects suite as well. And we also have the ducking feature, which allows you to have music playback and then sense someone speaking on a microphone and softly lowering that background playing music, which is a cool feature. On the mixer side, we have that color display in that 7-channel digital mixer with 4 XLRs, 2 high Z. We have the phantom power again that I mentioned before, and the Bluetooth 5.0, so that we're getting the best sound and the best coverage. And then this JBL Pro Connect app, which I just spoke of, which we're really proud of, it's an app that doesn't exist in the market for loudspeaker today in portable PA. Truly having a app that can do a full suite of features and also provide support for an ecosystem going forward, where you can mix and match products that will come out in the future inside of one app at the same time. And then expandability, I mentioned the pass-through. So we provide that audio to multiple units using a pass-through. And then we also have 2 USB 2.0 ports that you can power a wireless system or your tablet device using that as a power source as well. From an application standpoint, you're going to say, well, where can this be used, right? So as we're getting up into 130 dB, you can really get into some nice mid-sized venues. So, that would include, whether it's live performance or event entertainment, corporate presentations, house of worship, fitness instruction, education, hospitality, really a wide range of applications, especially as you're getting up into 130 dB of output. You can really get into, venues that go up to 500 people. The details matter, and really thinking about the details and how people use the product is something we spend a lot of time on, and really surveying our global market. So one of the features and that we're really proud of as an accessory to this product is we have an install bracket and adapter. You can see on the left-hand side here, one end plugs into the bottom of the array column, and then the other end goes into the base of the subwoofer cabinet. And then all you have to do is then buy a speak-on cable right off the shelf and connect to the product. I'll get into some more details here on the next slide. So we do have a multi-angle bracket so that you can hang it on the wall. And this is really nice because, when you're looking at an install or a more permanent situation, you may want to get that array column up higher or off in a more optimal place that is not visible or, something that people are going to bump into. So, we have a lot of different angles and steps here in terms of increments and what you can do with the bracket. And again, we thought it was really important not to lock anyone into a distance limitation other than what the speak-on cable limitation is, so that you can really get a speak-on cable right off the shelf, and you can really customize the distance between both ends of the adapters to accommodate what you need and not what we think you need. Just to show you a little bit of an evolution of the products that we currently have, and in this one in particular, Eon One and Eon One Pro are really kind of more of a small to mid venue. And if you look at the output, getting up to 118 dB, that definitely qualifies for kind of small to mid. But if you look at PRX One, we're getting up to 130 dB here. But more importantly, you see huge differences in terms of the number of drivers and the sizes of the drivers we're using in the woofer. So you have 12 2.5-inch drivers. We have a 12-inch sub. And then, again, you're going to see a lot of platforming on the mixer side in the digital space for us. So we have a 7-channel digital mixer here with that really amazing app control with the JBL Pro Connect app to go along with it. So a really, really deep, comprehensive package here, but you can see clearly the difference in why you might choose one or the other. Just competitively here, and we're not calling out any names or anything, but again, when we set out on these programs now, it's not just about winning at one level or just doing good at one area of a product. It's really about making sure that we are world class and world leading, and really creating and setting the benchmark in the field in a way that no one else is. So, you'll see here from an SPL standpoint, one thing to note here on the SPL side too is that this is a truly measured number for us, and it's a number that it's designed still to sound good at. There are a lot of other products out there that we are not necessarily able to reproduce that SPL number. So, we do have what I would consider really true measurement on our products, unlike some others. And then, again, frequency response, getting down to that 35 hertz, having that amazing 7-channel digital mixer with all of those inputs and outputs, high Z, phantom, didn't cut any corners here at all, and really reduces the need to buy another device, which is really important about having such a comprehensive mixer and effects platform here. On the effects side, having Lex and DBX all on board, using, having the reverb, EQ, delay, FS, compression, gate, all of that stuff is leaps and bounds ahead of anyone in this space. Having those 2 USB ports just for being able to power and drive other devices if you need to. And then again, having Bluetooth 5.0 for both audio and control. But more importantly, having an app that can do everything. There's no compromises on the app in terms of what you can do, and having that LCD, and being able to do every feature across whether using an app or the hardware itself. It's really an amazing package and clearly much different than anything else out there. So with that, we've got the JBL PRX One now arriving. We're soon to be arriving all around the world. And hopefully you guys will all have a chance to, really experience this great product and great sound. For additional information, please use this QR code or visit jblpro.com. We do appreciate your time, input, and obviously your business. So I wish everyone a great day. Thank you.